Hi everyone, I'm Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And I have an awesome guest today because she is not a knitter or a crocheter. No, no, this is Esther Schmidt from the Purple Cove. Hi Esther.
Hi, how are you? My
I'm,
name is Esther Schmidt, and I am a knitter, and I am a crocheter, and
get
I'm a
out.
jewelry maker. Yes, I am. I do it all. I do it all. And I will talk about it. Um, I started making my jewelry as it is because I would knit my sweaters with hand-painted yarns and the space-dyed yarns. And there's no button stores where I live. So I started making my buttons for my sweaters. And then, of course, I have to make a matching necklace to go with the sweater. So that's one of the creative things that happened to me. And this is why I started doing it. But I started doing jewelry, making jewelry when I was probably 9 years old. I made my simple little bracelet with little beads, and then I learned how to do patterns. So since I was very young, I started, and I learned how to crochet when I was 8, and I learned how to knit when I was 10. And
Get out.
I've been knitting and crocheting since, well, not forever, but almost forever. So
So I
um,
snuck one in here no matter what.
yeah, you can't go wrong with me because I kind of do it all. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. So, you, I was going to ask, how did you get your creative journey started? So, what is the Purple Cove, and how did that come to be?
okay, my favorite color is purple. So I really love purple, and I mean, I see people wearing just basic colors, beiges and blacks and blues and whites, and it does not excite me. And purple is an exciting color for me. And um, and I also, since I love purple so much, it's because it's in one of the most wonderful colors. It will match almost anything, and it will look good on anybody. It doesn't matter your color, your hair, your shape. It's a really royal color that will match anybody. So I love purple. So, and I thought of Cove because it's like a treasure cove. It's like when you go into a cave and you find this amazing things. So I hope you guys will be inspired by me and will find something amazing within my things.
I love
So
that. I love that name. I did not get that. Like I never knew what it was, but I get it now, and that's actually a really fitting shop name. I love it. And I know you love purple because it's all over your Instagram feed. Um,
yeah,
I've met Esther through Instagram, so I know, like, I was like every time I see your pictures come up, I automatically know it's Esther's jewelry. So,
thank you. I do try to make other colors.
mhm,
There's always some purple in there because I can't live without purple.
right.
My most neutral color is gold, copper, or silver. There's no beige. There's very little black,
Right.
and I really do try not to use those colors because they're not in the rainbow. So
Right.
if it's not in the rainbow, I'm not using them.
You know,
So, and they have to be jewel colors, not the muted colors, because they depress me. I want to tell you that I grew up in Mexico City, and what I have in me from my native city is the colors.
mhm,
The colors of the houses are forever embedded in my brain. You walk through the streets and one house is pink, but hot pink, not just pink,
yeah.
hot pink, and yellow, and brown, and blue, and green, and white, and purple, and royal blue. So it's like everywhere you see colors, you don't see meh. So that's why my jewelry is so colorful. I also live now in North Vancouver, and about 6 months of the year it's cloudy, it's rainy, and it's very gray.
I was
So
gonna say, if
I
every house is
do
white,
wear very, very colorful things because otherwise I'd be depressed to death.
that's what I,
So,
yeah, and every house is white, right? So,
no, my house is painted light blue. I
oh,
can't change the color of the walls, but I do have a choice sometimes on the sheets.
right.
So, so
Esther, oh my gosh, I love your passion for the
thank you.
color purple, and I love your what's the other people? I had it as you were talking, and now I'm drawing a blank, but I
It'll come back to you. It'll
yes,
come back.
it'll come back to me, but I do love the vibrance of your, you know what I mean, the way you speak about colors.
Thank you.
I I used to be I work at a textile mill right now, and I used to be a color specialist. And
Oh,
what that was is I wasn't making color. I was making sure I have a perfect eye color. So I was the quality person for the lab, the one that checks to make sure the colors match perfectly.
wow.
So for years, all I see is color. Like I would just see like that's a little off, that's a little off, like
I
with
believe I
comparison to
understand what you're saying. I
yeah.
was trying to do something yesterday and I could not find something to match it because the purples that I had ready around me were not the right purples, they were not the right greens, they were not the right blues. So I said, okay, walk away. So when something doesn't work the way you want it, I have learned walk away. It will
Mm,
come back to you. Maybe
yes.
not tomorrow, maybe not
Yeah.
later, maybe in a month, maybe in I don't know.
Yes.
For example, I had a sweater in a bag that was making for 2 years, and I said this year is the year that I will finish it, and I did finish it.
You
So
did?
yes, I did finish it.
That's
I
awesome.
will post it later on Instagram because
Yes. Oh, I'm so
it was a
looking
patchwork yarn sweater,
forward to it.
and I just said that's it. I don't want to have more bags of half done things. So I did finish 2 like that were in the way, and I have one more here that is almost getting there.
Oh, you know
So
what, Esther? I do remember our conversation. You did show me some of your knitted work.
right.
So but you don't sell knitted stuff,
I
right?
don't sell my knitted sweaters. I would love to because I'm drowning in my sweaters. I have about 250 sweaters that
Oh,
I've knitted and crocheted myself, and I have no more room to put them. But and I only use really good yarn, and I spent tons of hours on them. And I look at the patterns in the magazines, and then I fix them the way I want them, and I never follow a pattern. So my sweaters are all unique and they all have my buttons. So they're
yeah.
like really way out, really totally way out.
Wow.
So
Wow, you might need to get on board with that and figure out a way
I might want to be brave enough to do that.
to
But
share
I
that. You
need to
should.
find a way to, take a good picture of it and have
Yes.
a mannequin. And my apartment is like this big because apartments in Vancouver, I like the size. And really, it's like,
Right. Well,
I
that's why you play with jewelry.
exactly. Exactly. Jewelry is a little bit smaller and it's a little bit more manageable.
Yes. Yes.
So,
So what is your big why for pursuing this solopreneur lifestyle? This
I have a ton of jewelry that I kind of need to make somebody else happy with it. That's number one. And
Mhm.
number two is because I want to be financially sustainable and independent myself. So
Yes.
I am almost at the age of retirement, and I don't want to get to retirement without having something to do, and I want to be busy. I don't
Yes.
want retirement to come along and say, okay, now what? You know?
Yes.
So I do
Love
enjoy
it.
life and I do want
Yeah.
to do things, and I don't want to be thinking that I'm going to just sit at home and just watch TV and just
Yeah.
knit, or I have to do something with my hands. My hands are
Yeah. Well, you
my
have to
gift.
create and do something you love. You have to create and do something that you love.
Right.
I think we
And I
are
want to
all
share it because I think it would make people amazingly happy to wear them. My jewelry looks heavy. It is absolutely lightweight. I don't choose heavy necklace chains, and I make it from A to Z. So like this
yeah.
one, it's so light. It's like you don't feel you're wearing a big necklace.
Really?
Really.
That's awesome.
Yes, I have a lot of, like, my big necklaces are not heavy, and a lot of polymer artists make these things that they're really big and really heavy, and I don't know how they do that because my neck cannot stand it. So I really do it for my neck, and I do it thinking that a lot of people will want to wear it for a whole day long, and you can do that. You can go from the morning with this till the evening if you want it with the same necklace. You know, I add check beads, I add, check or Swarovski beads, I add freshwater pearls, I add glass beads, I add other things that I find around, and I make everything from scratch. And what I like most to do is that my pieces are the jewelry, not what I put around it to make it better.
Right.
But sometimes a little bit of wire does like a huge difference to it,
Yeah.
and that's all there is, but it's all in the design, and it's all in the weight that I have, so they're not heavy. You can wear them really literally 14, 15 hours, and it will last you longer than your bra.
Wow. That's really good to know. That's really good to know because I've always been, I'm not like a big jewelry because it tends to weigh me down.
It's
That's
heavy. It's
really good
heavy
to know.
on your neck. It's
That,
heavy on your
yeah,
neck, and I'm always aware of that.
yeah.
And I try to make it as thin as possible, as lightweight as possible. It looks heavy, but when you have it in your hand,
When
is
you wear it,
amazing.
yeah.
And another thing that I have brought from my knitting is that, a knitter always looks at a sweater. When you go to the store, you look at a sweater and you look at the outside very, very briefly, but when you really look at it, is inside. How was it finished inside? And
Yeah.
it's the same for my jewelry. When I finish my jewelry, the backs of my jewelry are just, I can't show you, I don't know if it's going to show, but the backs of my jewelry is just as beautiful. That's my E. And that's my sign. But they're just, you see, there's a little design in there.
Yes.
I
Beautiful.
finished the backs like really control quality in the front and the back, and I wear them to make sure that nothing breaks, nothing is loose,
Yeah.
nothing is not workable. And before I ship them, I double check them to make sure that everything is perfect, because I will warranty my job, my work.
Yes.
The only
Yes.
little thing that you have to be careful is heat. This stuff will melt in direct sunshine. If you put it in for a few hours, if you leave it in your dashboard,
Right.
it's going to be stuck
Right.
to your dashboard.
Right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So that's that's
That's
the
the
only
only
little
warning
thing
you
about.
have.
No, but you know what? I take it with me when I go on vacation, and I've
Yeah.
worn it at the beach, and it's fantastic. I go in the pool and come out, and it's perfect.
Right.
Nothing
Right.
happens to it. I just don't want it. I'm not sitting like that, and letting the sun hitting it so
Yeah.
that it melts on your neck,
Right.
because it's also not a good thing. So.
Right.
But I've taken it and put it in the water, and my buttons go in the washer, and nothing happens.
That's
Nothing
awesome.
really happens. So it's really an amazing product, and it's so versatile. You can do anything. I'm not a good sculptor. I cannot draw a straight line. However, look at the stuff that I make. There's perfect lines, perfect
Yeah.
things, and I don't know how I do it. I surprise myself
They're
just
beautiful.
about
Yeah.
every day that
Yeah.
I did it,
Well,
and that's
this
wonderful for me. So
this is a great way. So, what is your making process?
my making process is very unique. I'm going to start. I use a product that's called Primo or Fimo or Sculpey. Sculpey is not the best, and there's a few other brands that are from Europe, and they are really white, easy to find.
Yeah.
And it comes in a package like so that is 2 ounces, and you have to soften it into something like this,
Okay.
that you can squeeze with your fingers. I help myself with a pasta machine that I have here on the side. I cannot show you because it's behind. And my pasta machine has a handle, and I have a
Right.
motor. And the motor is fantastic because it really does save your hands and your arm and everything
Yeah.
else. You just warm it up with your fingers and it gets soft and it gets mushy. And when I put it through my pasta machine, I will show you. Hold on.
So like
It's
a real pasta
stretched.
machine.
A real pasta machine.
Okay.
It's stretched
Wow.
into a piece like this that is very
Yeah.
moldable. And then I start working with this. I take this, I make it into little round things like
Mm-hmm.
just this, and I wrap it with another color, or I cut it, or I
Yes.
many hundreds of way of manipulating it. And sometimes I like these rough edges, and
Yeah.
you will see a lot of it sometimes on my jewelry that I make jewelry out of this. Most people throw these out or reuse it in another way,
Yeah.
but I really think that sometimes that roughness is really cool.
Yes. Yes.
So I use what else do I use? I use cookie cutters like such. They come
Mm-hmm.
in, various sizes, like the
Yeah.
papa bear, the mama bear, and the baby bear. You know, come in different sizes. I also don't like super huge earrings because I also think they're, like not everybody has huge long necks, and
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people like it, and it's uncomfortable with the jackets, with the scarves, with whatever
Right.
it is you guys are wearing. I use, hold on, let me just grab this stuff that I have ready here. I use the most important thing that you need is, besides the pasta machine, is a blade. This
Is
is
that,
a
I was gonna say, is that a cutter? Yeah.
It's a cutter, it's a blade, it's very sharp. I keep on sharpening it, and it's scary. Uh,
Yeah.
well, you have to learn how to maneuver it. And then I use an X-Acto knife for cutting edges or
Right.
for whatever it is you needed. I use this makeup tool that is supposed to help it to put for under your eyes, but it's
Yeah.
wonderful to smooth the clay.
To smooth the clay.
Wonderful. We borrow
That's,
from wherever. I
that's
use
great.
tools like this that are like, I believe these are for manicure. They have
Uh-huh.
double points, but I use it not only on the points, I use the round part to smooth out the edges. I use paintbrushes. Where's the camera?
Right.
Paintbrushes to add my mica powders. I use things like this. This is a roller, and as you roll it, it creates a design.
Right.
I use these
Right.
for the backs of my pieces. The other thing that I use for the back of my pieces are um,
Oh.
these
These are
this
like stamps or the
little
imprints.
stamps they get, and
Yeah.
they imprint a
Hmm.
stamp in the back of
Yeah.
my pieces, because I also like, sometimes my jewelry is just as pretty in the back as in the front, and you might want to wear it backwards. And
Right.
you will have, all you have besides that is my stamp. So if you don't mind wearing my stamp in the front, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
But you might want to wear it like that.
Great.
And another tool that I use is this acrylic square to
Hmm.
push, to stretch my canes, because once you roll up these things, you will keep on adding, sorry, one second, you will keep on adding colors and lines and
Wow.
little balls and little thingies. So in order to make it long, you will of course use your fingers, but if you want to make it square, you will
Yeah.
use this to make it long. This
Right.
cane started about yay big, like triple the dimension of this.
Uh-huh.
And I have shrunken it down to this size.
Right.
I have many canes lately that I start with a picture, something that was that big, and I shrink it down and I make a kaleidoscope.
Wow.
So this is the size without being shrunk yet. So
Yeah.
when it's smaller, it will look like kind of like a yellowish purple flower with some burst of whatever in there. But this is not the size that I will use to begin with.
Right. So
So
basically, everything you end up making, it really becomes like a one of a kind piece.
Yes. And I
doesn't it?
also work in very small batches that I
Yeah,
only get 3 sets, four
yeah,
sets. I never get more than 10 sets. That's the most I've gotten.
right.
Because, first of all, I get bored.
Hmm.
So then it goes into my box of old canes that sometimes I do use, and I have a huge box of that.
Right.
And 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 I get bored. So there's only so many ways to use a rose, but I do manage to use it in a few different ways. And but I get bored.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And I love making the canes. Love, 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 love making the canes. So it starts as a very simple thing from going from a this to a that to the other thing. Like here's another cane that is a blue flower with
Oh,
purples and oranges, and the colors are degraded, and
right.
it's a
That is beautiful.
whole system, and it's a whole process. Sometimes to make one of this, to get to the cane part, it can take me up to a whole day just to get
Really?
this done,
Just to get
without the reducing, without the
right.
painting, without anything else. And once I'm done with that, I just want to show you. I'm gonna reach behind me. Oh no, here it is. Once I done that, I have I cut them, several pieces of them, and I kind of paint, and I start adding it into this is called a veneer. So this could actually be a painting. I could actually just leave it like this and put a
Yeah.
put a picture around, a picture
Gorgeous.
frame around it. But I cut it. I really, unfortunately, sometimes I do cut it. Sometimes I can't, because I love it so much that I can't cut it.
Yeah, that is
So
so pretty.
um, so each one of these flowers was done separately. You know, I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see the leaves are done separately. This leaf was something else. I didn't like it. I fixed it. I used it again. These flowers don't exist because they don't exist, only in my mind. So it's
Mhm.
all in my imagination, and I don't ask me how my imagination works, because I can't figure it out. So
So how are you getting, so are those like several like canes cut and then
yeah,
laid upon
they're
each other
very
and then
thin.
flattened?
They're cut very thinly with a
Right. And
and
then,
cut very thinly, and I just take a plain piece of clay, such as I decided that for this, the best color to go under is this green, which
mm-hmm.
is green teal was it's two colors. That
Okay.
sometimes it comes in, sometimes the colors are not the colors that I want, so I
Yeah.
also end up mixing colors.
Yes.
You know what that is. And this particular set, I've prepared another veneer like this. So
Mm-hmm.
it will go together with this one, sorry.
Right.
So it will go
Right.
something like this, and I will make like something that will look
Mm-hmm.
like it. I like this.
Gorgeous.
Um, for a while, I also, when I was an older person, I went to college when I was 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I took, and I actually have a literature master's. And I call these pieces, um, like we call in literature, we call them distortion. And we call them,
Yep.
and at the end, like sorry, 1 second, I'm going to remember. I'm going to keep on talking, and I'm going to remember his name. Faulkner.
Yes.
He cut his work that you didn't know where you were going, and you say, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this, but at the end of the story, he takes these pieces that were like floating and puts them all together, and the story comes together.
Yes.
So that's how I feel about doing these things.
Yes.
I feel like it's like a poetry, or like a literature thing, that it's going to be something.
Yeah.
Don't ask me
Esther,
how I'm
my
going to
question,
cut them, but I have a huge collection of cookie cutters, and when I don't have the ones that I want, I go crazy.
Yeah.
But I just don't have how to make them. So
Right.
and then after I'm done doing all these wonderful things, I bake them or cure them in an oven, a regular oven. I do have a special oven just for these things, and I cut it. I put it outside my house because it kind of like after a while the polymer kind of stinks.
Right.
Because it's gasoline, so
Yeah.
it's petroleum, so it does stink. So and after that, then I start assembling. Then I start adding the hardware. I add another coating of liquid clay that I have to cure it with a heat gun,
Yeah.
and that takes me a few hours. A
Right.
few hours to finish it, and then I put the hardware, and then I put the necklaces, and then I'm ready to take pictures. So
Yeah.
that's my process. My process is extremely long, but I don't want to put out something that is,
It's a
I want
labor of love.
it's
It's
a
a
really
labor of love.
and I'm basically charging for a little bit of my time. Everything else
Yeah.
is basically free. So um
Yes.
because and I love doing it, and for me it's also a kind of a therapy working with your hands. And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I have to take off my shoes, and my feet cannot be in my shoes because I feel like it's bothering me.
When
And
you're
it's not
creating,
letting,
you
when I'm either with socks or barefoot because I can't stand
right.
the shoes, and it's like restraining me for some reason.
And
So
well, you have to be comfortable. So that's
right.
all. It's what your comfort level is. That's
Right. And
awesome.
I also want to tell people one more thing. If you,
Yeah.
whatever it is you guys do, always please sit correctly. You must make sure that you're sitting correctly, that you get up and that you stretch. And
Yes.
sitting correctly is a big, big, important thing for anybody who creates anything.
That's a
Because
great. I was just going to
um,
ask you, do you have any tips for newbie makers? Do you want to count that as your tip, or do you
that's
have
one
more?
of my, yes,
That's
that's
one
one
of
of
your
the
tips?
tips.
What are the other ones for these newbie
Other
makers?
tips is that I gave you a one link of basic polymer clay video on YouTube. I don't make videos because I have not figured out how to put my camera and me and cut it and do the whole thing. My process is so long that I don't want to spend my time doing that. I want to
Right.
really do what I want to do and what I
Yeah.
love doing. So I do follow other tutorials. I sometimes I pay for them. Sometimes I just watch on YouTube. There's a few people who are my favorite. One of them is a turtle bead soup. That's what her name is. The other one is Jasama tutorials, and they're just wonderful.
Do you want me
They
to add that link in the description of that
could,
tutorial video?
you could, you
Yeah,
could.
I will do that. So if they want to see how your process is made, or the basics of what you do, but it's not your video. But
No, they're not my videos, and I do
right.
follow some of the people, and I do try to look at those at least once, twice, 3 times a week, if I can, more. And I also have, since I've been on Instagram, I've been doing tons of webinars and tons of, videos on how to do the Instagram and how to work it. So I have invested a lot of time teaching myself how to do this, and I want to tell you all that I never played Nintendo, so it is a very hard thing for me to do. And I'm not a millennium, so I still just text with one finger.
Yeah.
So or with one of those stylists, that's what I'm using all the time. I can't do this. No, I can't do that.
Oh,
So
my daddy used to use that. He loved that end point of the pen, and then
I have
instead of
one at
using his
every table
fingers.
I'm sitting. I have one at every table I'm sitting.
That's what I used to give him as a gift. Every time I'd find a pen with those ends, I would get it for him so that he would always have it to use, because he never used his fingers to
Right.
on the iPads. He always used those styluses.
I can't, so it is what it is. And I have taught myself, everything that I do on the computer, on my websites, on my stores. And I have had a lot of websites that did not work for me. So I had to stop them and rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. And I've been at it for about 5 years.
I was
Doing
going to
my
say,
websites.
with the Purple Cove, you've been doing this for 5 years?
Yes, I'm doing this for, I learned actually how to start doing this about 30 years ago when I lived in New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey for 20 something years, 25, 27 years. And I was really lucky and blessed to be able to take classes with one of the few original people who thought polymer could be an art, not just a kid's play.
Yeah.
And I was blessed to be able to take classes with this lady. Her name is Elise Winters, and she passed away recently. But she got to the point that she got her things into museums, art museums, and her stuff sold as artwork, not as just jewelry. So, and she taught me a ton. So I do have a huge background, and I was able to take other classes while I lived in New Jersey with other artists, and they're mind blowing.
Right.
And those are my real basics. And lately I've been, I signed up online for a couple of online courses. One of them was through Create Along Polymer Clay Adventure. And they have about 15 artists that will show you from A to Z, video after video after video, from how to do whatever they specialize in doing, or that is their favorite thing to do. And you learn how, you see how the hands work, you see how they maneuver the clay, and they sculpt, and they do embroidery, and they do canes like me, or they don't, but they do something else. And they paint, and you can paint with acrylics, you can paint with inks, you can paint with powders, with the ink, with the mica powders that I call them pixie dust, because, it's just pixie dust. Even glitter. You can use glitter with your stuff. You can use stamps, you can use, the sky is the limit, and sometimes I don't just make jewelry, I cover these little boxes of, I don't remember what this was from, but I cover them with clay, or I make little bottles like this, I cover them, and I have a collection of about 24, and I should really do more, but those are bottles of hope that I'm going to take to a hospice and just give them away.
Right.
Because I want to make their days somehow.
Yes.
But I also make bowls for rings, for knickknacks.
So cute.
My husband has one, believe it or not. He asked me to make him one, and he uses it for the SD cards. So it's not just for girls.
Yes.
It's for men with imagination.
Yes.
So, or to put your little bolts, and to put your little, knobs. They're good. My mom puts her medicines on this. So, there's different, not just for earrings, not just for rings. You can use them for, or just for beautiful things.
Awesome. Esther, so I think you've already answered my question about how do you invest in yourself. So you take a lot of webinars and seminars in your classes.
Tons.
Out the wazoo.
I have taken lots of webinars for, from a lot of people, and that they say I'm going to teach you how to be successful as an entrepreneur. And I have not bought their packages because they're like outrageously impossibly expensive. But you learn, and when you don't find the answers, YouTube has a lot of answers. Like right after I'm done with you, I'm going to YouTube to teach me how to do a live post for Instagram, because I can't figure it out, but I will.
You will.
But
DM me if you need any extra tutorials on that.
Oh, great.
So you're gonna go learn further, and after being with you, because you've honestly your energy, I'm gonna go take a nap.
My day has just begun. I haven't done
I know.
anything yet. I
I'm
haven't
like,
done
Esther,
anything yet.
you're just so full of vibrance. Like I'm just like I dream to be you one day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, I want to tell you one little thing. A couple of months ago,
Yeah.
my hair was purple because I said, okay, it goes with me. But I decided that to give it a rest. And now I'm showing all my beautiful gray hairs. And my husband
You come
says they
back.
look fantastic. But
Yeah.
maybe when it's all white and I get really tired, I'll paint it again blue.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna
Because
go
why not?
blue? Blue
Blue.
next.
Blue next time. Or purple again.
It'll match your jewelry. There's a little blue and purple, so
Right.
it'll go.
Right.
It'll go.
Right.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Right.
Esther, this has been an awesome treat to have
Oh,
you
thank
on here.
you.
Uh,
Thank you. I hope, and I love to laugh and I love to dance. So that's another thing I do want to tell you, that when you're doing your work, you
uh-huh.
have to stop and put some music and just dance and enjoy the
That
music, move, and just be happy. You know, just be happy that you can do whatever it is you do with your hands, whatever your creativity takes you. Everything is valid, everything is good. And my goal for my customers, my future customers, I want them to feel happy. I want them to feel that they didn't just buy a necklace, that they bought something that is going to take them through the day and make them smile, make them happy, make them comfortable. and
yes.
and that's what I want. You know, that's my
And
goal.
it actually looks
Sorry,
it.
my phone. Thank you.
Yes, it actually looks
So
it. It's very vibrant and for anybody that's going to put that on, they're gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna bring a smile to them.
yeah, I also think that people who go to work, they wear these beautiful blouses or these beautiful suit jackets, and they only put like a little gold thing or a little thing. But sometimes if you want to show your personality, really come by and buy
Yes,
yourself, treat yourself to wear something that your coworkers are going to say, oh my God, you look amazing, you
yes.
know,
That's a
because
great
you are
piece.
wearing something amazing. So um
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
a
else to
great.
say.
I love it. I love it. You guys go check out her shop, the Purple
One
Cove.
more thing. One more thing I have to
Oh,
tell
more?
you.
Good.
Sometimes I finish my earrings, not this one, but sometimes I finish my earrings that you know which one is the right earring and the left earring. Sometimes I put a little leaf in the back that shows you the direction of your earrings. And all my earrings of last year, they all finished in the back. So then you're not just looking at a back. You're looking
Right.
at something pretty in the back.
Right.
And
That's a great. Yeah. No,
so
that's great detail.
yes, that's what I try to do. So, all right. Thank you so much for letting me do this. I
Oh, thank
am
you so much for doing this.
so
This has been.
happy. I am so happy, and I'm so thankful to you. Really, it's a great opportunity, and
Yes. Esther, you're
let's
an
keep
absolute
going.
joy. You're an absolute joy. You guys go check out her shop. All of her links are below. Go follow her on Instagram, and let's go see if we can find her when she does this live video on
Oh,
Instagram.
one more thing, very important. My birthday is next week. Wait, sorry. My birthday
Yes.
is next week, and I'm looking for people born on the same day. I want birthday twins. I'm looking for birthday twins so I can send them some love. I might even send you something in the mail.
Oh, that's
So
you
just you
know what?
have to tag yourself and tag your friend who's born on the 25th of February.
The
So
25th of February.
25th of
I'm gonna
February
be
is
sure
Tuesday.
because this interview will not be aired by then, but I will go on my Instagram and I will do some videos just to help get that word out so they can go
Thank
check you
you.
out before
Thank
the
you.
25th, so they
Thank
can
you.
find you on the 25th. So that's
Perfect.
great. That's a great. We definitely want to
Perfect.
help you find your birthday twin there.
Hey, I'm always wondering, like I said, well, they were born the 24th, they were born the 26th, and I really don't know enough people born on the 25th. So
25th of February. All right, we'll start that search. All right,
okay,
guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther, for joining. Go check out
you're
our links.
welcome.
Go check out the Purple Cove. And I will see you guys next time. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe.
Yes,
And
do that. Do that.
yeah,
Subscribe.
and I will see you guys next time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye to all of you. Bye.